There's some new emails that emerged that the Oversight Democrat Committee, okay, have released. It says new Epstein files regarding or came from the Jeffrey Epstein estate that raised serious questions about Donald Trump and his knowledge of the Epstein horrific crimes, is what they're saying. And they're saying, read these for yourself. So this is the email that popped up. Okay. The email that popped up, first of all, says, I've been thinking about that. What was she responding to? Well, Jeffrey Epstein sent her an email on April the 2nd of 2011 saying to Ghislaine Maxwell, okay, this is Jeffrey Epstein. It says, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. The second email says this came from Jeffrey Epstein to a Michael Wolff. And it says, victim, redacted, Mar-a-Lago, and then another line redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Okay. Then there's one more. The last email in this comes from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein. And it says, I think you should let him hang himself. Okay. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. Okay. And then Jeffrey Epstein basically tells him, he says, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? And then Michael Wolff writes back and says, I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in Scrum afterwards. So that email, chain of events and some others get released. They get put out to the public. All of a sudden it creates this stir. And then immediately we get this information here regarding some new drops about the Clintons.
What I immediately think about, and obviously if we can all remember that Pam Bondi, there was a video of Pam Bondi talking about tens of thousands videos regarding children that they found. Question is that who's in these videos? Are you telling me that if they're, obviously that's a crime in itself. We already know that whoever is partaking in these videos immediately is a criminal. So again, who are in the tens of thousands, meaning that there has to be hundreds of adults in these videos.
Oh, yeah.
Who are they? Why isn't that investigated? Why isn't anyone, again, I think the question is, and I want to read this comment because I think it was amazing by Elizabeth on X. We are sick of hearing how they know all these people committed heinous crimes and treason, but there are no consequences.
None.
No consequences at all. And let's go back to zero rest right here. I love this picture too. Zero rest, 109 Fox News appearances.
And I think that's the reality here. It's like, because, hey, I voted for Trump. I wanted Trump in office. But where are the arrests? Where are the Epstein files that we were promised? Where are the details that we were promised that we're told that they would be disclosed to the American people, that there's no reason why it shouldn't be? But now we're told there's nothing. We saw them holding up the pamphlets and showing the names on them as phase one of the Epstein files in the White House for the certain influencers who were there. Our daughter Bella even questioning one of those influencers as well, just asking her about it, right? She probably didn't know any better. But the reality is that we've gotten nothing. We've got no real arrest, no real perp walks, maybe just a couple little things here and there. But to the degree that we expected, because the American people voted for that, which they were promised, has not been fulfilled. And so it does create a sense of urgency, of disappointment, of anger in a lot of individuals. And it's not to say we don't support our president, because we do, right? We pray for those in authority. We support them. But the problem is that if we're getting these empty promises and nothing's being fulfilled, what makes this administration any different from any previous one? Mm-hmm. What makes red any different from blue? And so it's like, what are we trying to cover up here? Who are we trying to cover for? Because if you're not covering for yourself within the administration, if there's nobody who really has done anything bad within the administration, well, what you're doing by protecting either state actors, foreign entities, or anybody else who may be implicated within those documents and within that evidence and information, then you're making it seem as though you do have some type of involvement or guilt in it. which then gives off even further bad or negative implication and view and perspective to the American people, especially as we're leading into the midterms, to say, hey, listen, if there's corruption in there, I don't want to be a part potentially
especially
of
with
voting
children.
For it. Yeah.
Especially with children. I think, again, it's not a red or a blue thing. This is just a human being thing. I think as human beings, we don't agree with children either being exploited, sex trafficked. Like, this is something we all stand together with. If there are emails and they were speaking about Trump, and Epstein himself is with Trump, there are pictures of them together. It does not look right. Once again, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm sure if you found out somebody was a pedophile, you're not going to be chilling with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just weird. So with that being the case, I think it would be very hypocritical that we can look at somebody like our last president, which was Joe Biden, and we saw how uncomfortable children looked around him and that how he was sniffing kids, and then look on the other side and just kind of turn our cheek away from it. If there is proof, though, if it comes down that there is proof that our own president may have been involved, it would be honestly just very hypocritical of us to not hold even the red side accountable for anything. If we're wanting consequences done on the blue side, then we need the consequences done on the right side too as well.
I think that's where we're being extremely fair, because we were extremely critical of the Biden administration and what they were doing or not doing and all the implications there, all the crimes and so forth. And so here within the Trump administration, we voted for him, but that doesn't mean we're showing the American people that we are not biased, that we're saying, hey, listen, the same critical nature in which we bestowed upon the Biden administration, we're also bringing that upon the Trump administration and saying, listen, we're looking at this as this picture says, we'll throw it up here on the screen for you guys. Number of arrests, Russian collusion hoax, 0, right? They say now that there's been 1 or 2 or whatever. January 6th, 0. We can talk about the pipe bomb person that is now confirmed to be the CIA asset, right? We can talk about the Mar-a-Lago raid, who's been arrested for that, 0. Biden auto pen situation, 0. 2020 election, 0. Epstein pedophile arrest, 0. COVID-19. We know now that in fact is the right thing. I mean, for God's sakes, the RFK is the one who's the HHS director who wrote the Anthony Fauci book. Where's the arrest? We have the proof. Benghazi, none. Doge findings, all the fraud, waste, and abuse that was uncovered. Where's the arrest for that?
Yeah.
0. Ukraine impeachment hoax, 0. So we can go down the list of all the details and so forth that have been provided to the American people pertaining to these situations that have occurred. This is stuff that was ran on. These were efforts that were put together in order to get votes, etc. And we still have not received any verifiable information, any true arrest, anything to make something happen in light of what took place.
Joey, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi keeps coming out that they have more information. Is that something that the American people should receive and just take them for their word, but then yet there's no consequences? Is that good enough for the American people? And you know what? I just want to go ahead and separate myself. Red or blue? No. American people are coming together right now. When we're saying, hey, give us the Epstein list. We want to hold people accountable. Child trafficking is wrong. Child exploitation is wrong. It's evil. It's demonic. And we know things are taking place with children. Obviously, Pam Bondi, you said tens of thousands of videos of children. Who are they? Who made the videos? We should be able to go ahead and crack down on who these individuals are. You guys were ready to take down people from January 6th, and people that are still in prison.
And then don't get me started on the Elijah Schaffer situation with FBI Director Kash Patel and his girlfriend. I mean, I don't have anything against them. I don't know them personally. I neither here nor there. But the fact is that when you're the FBI director, and this is not your wife, this is your girlfriend. Okay. And again, just watching from afar what's taking place in the Elijah Schaffer situation. For those who don't know, he's the guy from Rift TV. Right now, he's being sued for $5 million by Kash's girlfriend because the allegation is that there's an insinuation that somehow she's involved in a honeypot scheme, or she is some type of agent from a foreign country. And they're saying that she is involved with Kash Patel, not because she really loves him, likes him, or anything of that nature, but because it's a situation to get involved, get intel, and be on the inside and basically control him from within on behalf of a foreign nation. That's the allegation. So they're suing him for this. Now, where it gets weird is that they say Kash came out with a text thread basically saying, hey, listen, my girlfriend's the greatest in the world and she's the best and most historic country singer there ever's been. And, I'm obviously just giving you kind of the overall vantage point and whatnot, not the specific details, but this is what's being said. Then they're saying that when she brought this suit against this guy, Elijah Schaffer, who's a journalist, by the way, okay, that she did so on behalf or underneath the scope or umbrella of Cash's own organization, his legal organization, to bring this lawsuit. So people are saying, whoa, 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 whoa. This is an abuse of power, abuse of discretion. Okay. Is this because this guy was saying that you were using a private jet, which belongs to the government, to go and visit your girlfriend at a game where she was singing the national anthem, and you went to go have a date with her, when you were saying the previous administration for using the private jet for personal things should be charged a $15,000 per fee penalty?
And I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
Minimum.
For utilizing something for your own personal uses.
Was he charged a penalty by any chance?
No, there's no penalty. So they're saying that it's completely justified for him to do so, at least at this point. So
that's so sweet. Our tax-paying dollars is paying for Kash Patel to go visit his girlfriend and sing the national anthem. Wow, guys.
And again,
what a nice gift to Kash Patel.
And again, alleged, right? This is the type of thing that we're talking about, where when you push to be, you want to put the United States of America first, or you say that that's what you want to do, but then when you start getting criticized or certain things get called out on you, you don't have a thick enough skin to be able to withstand these conversations or to address these things head on and have a conversation. You are a public servant. You are here because of the American people. Therefore, you serve the public, not the other way around. And so if you are a public servant on behalf of the American people, then if people are raising, issues and scrutinizing what you're doing or potential what it looks like in their perspective of your actions, you should have no problem coming out and addressing those things head on and saying, hey, there's nothing wrong here. This is actually what took place. Let me explain it to you, because it is the American tax dollar that is funding and paying for the things that you're doing, including your salary. And I think that's where the line gets crossed. And so to be that, defensive of a girlfriend who's not even your wife, and then some of the other actions that have ensued are making people now, including Candace Owens, basically say she's calling for Kash Patel to step down as director of the FBI. And a lot of people are doing the same. They're very unhappy with what they've witnessed from Pam Bondi as the AG, from Kash Patel as the FBI director, and a number of other individuals as well, because of promises made but not kept.
So with that being said, again, we are coming in together as Americans, and that's what's making me, honestly, to do my job as well, to call wrong for what is wrong and not to turn away or to hide from it. And that has just been us, Joey. We've been about the truth. We've been about the children from the beginning. And it's just, hey, again, these people aren't our gods. Honestly, at the end, we're Christians. We know exactly what we believe in and what we stand firm in. And this is, at the end, we know that left or right, this is something very demonic. This is some political power up in the top that at the end, they all golf, they all eat, they're all attending. Obviously, we see Jeffrey Epstein and Trump together. We do see them together. That is something we cannot deny. That they were together. But we also saw Epstein with a lot of other individuals and powerful people. So with that being said, Joey, what do you think that we can end it off at the end?
We just have to understand this is political theater being played out on us before our very eyes. And ultimately, live your life. Enjoy your life. Do your thing, right? Provide for your family. Do the things that you're doing to embetter yourself and embetter those around you and to serve your community. That's what's important, I believe, in a situation like this. Don't get caught up in all of the web. Now, obviously, pay attention to see what happens, see what comes out. Be mindful of that. But I guess the most important thing right now is to throw this back at all of you watching this at home. What do you think about this? What do you think the next best step is? What do you think is the way that we should obviously perceive this whole thing and carry this out in our next steps? Drop your comments down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to join us here on the Vontae Show so that you can keep up to speed and get notifications on everything that we drop. We greatly appreciate you so much as we're kicking off this new channel. And so many of you have been incredibly supportive, and we want to continue to see that. So members only club and so much more coming very, very soon. We'll catch you on the next one.